they talking real loud, spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. With my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. With my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back.
It's the one and only queen of receipts, the dropping gems in these YouTube streets. The lawyer Royce, nowhere to go. Tune in for the infamous morning show, giving the news that you need to know. So don't you dare miss a wake-up call. Then in the evening, I got all for y'all. Get your dose of daily vitamins. You know the queen makes it make sense. So true.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's see who is in here. All right, DJ Big Six, Khalid is in the virtual building. Above all that drama, Anita Harrell, Claudette, Most Hated, Bronze, Flat Power God, Perplex. All right, let's get into it. That Crazy Beach Aries, Deronda. All right, Reggie is in the building. Okay, I see you. Terry Hinton is here. G from the land. All right, just anticipate. Okay, so let's get into it. Shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they stay putting in work. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. Okay, hold on just a second. What's going on here? Okay. All right, guys. Hey, the elder Barbara Rashawn live. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, 504. Nola is in the house. Okay, so let's get into it because we have a lot to cover. First things first, you all know that they're voting today to release the Epstein files. Okay, Trump thinks he's so slick and sly. It's all hilarious. Now, hold on, because I want to show a few clips of what people have been saying about him. We're just going to show a few. But here's the thing. No, hold on. Let me just go to Jake Tapper. I think that's his name. The guy from, am I on the right email? Yeah, this is him, Chris Tapper. Okay, from CNN. Let's go to him first. Now, the reason I'm going to him is because he said the same thing that I said yesterday. But the funny thing is, what everybody is saying now is what I told you all days ago. We're going to get into it. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you haven't been receiving the notifications. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
Went on Truth Social on Sunday night and said, quote, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the thing. There doesn't need to be a vote. President Trump is the president of the United States. He can tell the Justice Department right now, right this second, release the Epstein files, redact, take out the names of the survivors and the victims, but release the Epstein files. What this legislation does is just gets the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. This is all just an exercise in theater because it could be released right now. And yet, because Attorney General Pam Bondi has blocked the release of the files, there was then legislation introduced in Congress by Congressman Tom Massey to have the Justice Department release the files. And then that legislation was blocked by the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, at the behest of President Trump. And so there was a discharge petition, which would force the Speaker to bring this legislation to the floor of the House for a vote. And President Trump lobbied against any Republicans signing the discharge petition, and he attacked the 4 Republicans who did sign the discharge petition. He went after Congress Tom Massey for his personal life, and he started calling Marjorie Taylor Greene Marjorie Traitor Greene. He had his Attorney General, his Deputy Attorney General, and his FBI Director try to get Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to remove her name from the discharge petition. They lobbied her in the Situation Room of the White House. All of this to stop the release of the Epstein files. And now, sensing this huge defeat coming, because not only are there 218 votes, as from the discharge petition, other House Republicans are now saying they're probably going to vote to release the Epstein files. Congressman Burchett of Tennessee and Congressman Bacon of Nebraska, and on and on. Sensing this huge, embarrassing defeat coming, President Trump says, oh no, release the Epstein files, release the Epstein files. We don't know we need to go through any of this. We don't have to have legislation in the House and then it goes to the Senate and then it goes to get President Trump's signature or not. He can do it right now. He is the president. Release the Epstein files. Go ahead and do it. If you really want them done, President Trump can just call Pam Bondi, release the Epstein files. We don't need to do any of this legislation.
And that's all facts and no lies detected. Okay, but you know, MAGA, a lot of MAGA is just dumb. A lot of those people act like they have, you know, cotton candy for brains. Okay, like they're not that smart. First of all, one of them told me yesterday on a post, they told me that I was wrong. Okay, they told me that this was all a Democrat hoax and Trump didn't do anything. And in fact, Trump had already been cleared. I said, excuse me, cleared by who? Who cleared him? They were like, well, Virginia said that she never saw him do anything. And I said, yeah, she did say that. And I said she likely never did see him do anything because she only saw him once in her life. And that was at Mar-a-Lago. That's what she said. Now, I know the Republicans told you that that was her that was in the room with him for hours, but that was not her because she said herself she only saw him once. So that's how we know that's a lie. Okay? Right? And then let's not talk about all the other nefarious allegations that he's had against him. But enough about all that, because here's the bottom line. Now, what Chris Tapper just said, you know, about Trump knowing that it's the end of the road, he's losing or whatever, he's going down. Well, you know, that's what I was saying yesterday. But I told you all the day before that Trump knows damn well the files can't be released. Do you all not remember me telling you that? Once in the chat, if you all remember me telling you that those files will not be released because, in fact, Trump got Pam Bondi to go after the Democrats. Okay? Remember me telling you all that? He got her to go after the Democrats. Bill Clinton, okay, she was looking into the person that worked for Obama, Reid Hoffman, told her to go after prominent Democrats. So I told you what they're going to do. Here's the con. Here's the trick. What they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, we can't release the files. There's an active investigation. And here's the thing. Now, remember, you heard that here first because now everybody's saying it. But literally, I said that days ago. And here's the thing also. Another thing is Trump brought up, why didn't Biden release the files? Well, Biden wasn't the one promising on his whole campaign trail that that's what he was going to do, for one. But for number two, Biden couldn't have released the files. You know why Biden couldn't release the files? Because Ghislaine Maxwell's trial was going on in 2021 when Biden was in office. So when Biden got in office, you think he was going to release files? They wouldn't have allowed him to do it, just like Trump's not going to be able to do it. And he knows it. That's why he said, go ahead and release the files, because he knows damn well they're not going to be released. But it will make him look good. So he thinks, because then he thinks people are going to say, well, you know, Trump did tell them to go ahead and release it and said they had nothing to hide. Yeah, they didn't have anything to hide because they've already hidden everything. They've already redacted numerous things out of those files, in my opinion. They've already hidden evidence and other things they don't want us to know about. Okay? Yeah, you don't have anything to hide, Trump, because you already hid it all. And the second thing is, now that's just my opinion. But the thing is, like I said, he knows, and here's what's going to happen. Now, remember, I told you this because I'm pretty sure this is how it's all going to go down. Okay, they're going to have the vote. And here's another thing, too. I also told you all days ago that, first of all, even if they vote for it, okay, it still has to get past the Senate. It's going to die in the Senate. And even if it doesn't, Trump can veto it. I told you all of this. Either way, the files will not be released. They will not be released. Okay? Trump can sit here and play these games. He can fool his base because they don't have any sense. All right, at the end of the day, they can sit there and foolishly believe this is a Democratic hoax. How the hell is it a hoax at all when he's telling people to investigate the Democrats? How is it a hoax when you had two people that went to trial? Well, one person went to trial and got convicted. The other one's dead. But like, make it all make sense. Trump just talks crazy. Okay, Reggie said they've had them for years now. Exactly. But hold on, let's go to Hakeem Jeffries, what he had to say about it. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share it. Thank you in advance. And Hakeem Jeffries, I don't know what he's talking about when he's talking about the reason why Trump is going, telling them to reason. I don't know what he's talking about. He sounds crazy.
Donald Trump appears to have chickened out on the Epstein scandal. He's caved. It's a complete and total surrender, because as Democrats, we made clear from the very beginning, the survivors and the American people deserve full and complete transparency as it relates to the lives that were ruined by Jeffrey Epstein, who was a monster, and all of those folks who were dealing with him, the wealthy and the well-off, and people who are going to be exposed in full transparency. That's been our commitment from the very beginning, and it's closer to happening this week. The House will act decisively. The Senate needs to act, and Donald Trump just needs to step out of the way.
He said Trump needs to step out of the way and let the chips fall where they may. Okay, not bars, but Trump's not going to step anywhere. Okay, and then he said Trump chickened out. Nah, he didn't chicken out. He just saw that the cards were all stacked against him when his own party started flipping on him. So, and then officials from the White House came and told him that it's not going to be a good look. Because if they vote, which they're voting today, and then everybody's in favor of, which they will be, he's going to be looking real bad. So that's one thing that got Trump to just say, okay, well, let me just go out here and, say, go ahead and release it, because it's never going to be released anyway. Okay? Like I told you all, it's never going to happen. I'll be surprised if it does. But hold on, because the Epstein victims, if anybody needs to put out the information, the Epstein victims need to do so. Because remember, they said that they know the names of many of those people. They need to put those people's names out. We can't trust the government or wait on them to do it. They could have been giving us the information. And then Trump sitting here having people go through a vote through the whole motions, basically just going through the motions of a vote, just like Tapper said. Because at the end of the day, he could have just released it himself weeks ago. When he first got in office, months ago, he could have done it, just like he lied and said that he would.
suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
Well, not as far as Trump is concerned. Mm, mm, mm. Well, so here's what they say. Let's get into it. I'm going to go to this. Now, I haven't seen this. We're going to listen to some of it. It says House poised to pass a bill to force the release of the Epstein files in a bipartisan vote. The vote comes after Trump reversed course and encouraged House Republicans to support the measure he had previously opposed. Like, how can these MAGA people be so stupid? I mean, it's really amazing to me that they're absolutely this dumb, that they think that this man's been fighting, trying to distract us. He's been doing all sorts of things to keep from having to release the files. And now all of a sudden, because he says, oh, yeah, go ahead and do it, right before they're having a vote, they're like, oh, yeah, he don't have anything to hide. What are you talking about? He's been hiding the whole time. Like, make it make sense.
Texas was feeling unwell.
Now, I'm Gabe Gutierrez in Washington, where President Trump is now urging House Republicans to vote yes on a bill that would force his own Justice Department to release all of the Epstein files. And moments ago, telling reporters he would sign the bill into law if it got to his desk. The president's willingness to release the files represents a stunning 180 after months.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to what Trump said, because I actually saw the video when they asked him that. Now, he just said that Trump said that he would sign the bill if it got to his desk. Said he would sign it if it got to his desk. Yeah. He said he would sign it. And he said, but people don't need to, hold on. He said something about people don't need to keep talking about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? People don't need to talk about it. Because he said it's for the Democrats. Hold on just a second. I'm going to pull it up and let y'all hear it. I'm not going to show it on the screen. I don't have time. Okay, here we go. Hold on. This is somebody playing it right here. Hold on.
The Senate looked at it, anybody looked at it, but don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. Wow.
He said, honestly, I don't want to take it away from us.
Listen, you do know that.
What is that supposed to mean? Hold on.
You want to stay free in the country and I expect it out, but I blew my stack at these three minutes. Oh, just tells you the what? Something can follow for that. He said there was a polyp. He said,
now, watch how he gets upset because a woman asked him, what countries were you yelling at?
You mentioned your voice and you were shouting about trade. Which country in particular upset you? Was it India?
No, a country wanted to try and renegotiate the terms of their trade deal. And I wasn't happy about it.
Which country was it? People want to know.
Why would I say that to you? I can't believe it.
Disgusting, right? Now let's.
And another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. You know, we've only given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages, 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that many of the people that some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost the country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, and a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for any. I don't think they can do whatever they want. I'm for them. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time. Yes.
I hear him just talking crazy. That man makes no sense. He's just sitting there bragging on himself as per usual, not wanting to answer questions because he was sitting there lying, talking about he was yelling. And the lady said, "What country?" He said, "Oh, I'm not going to tell you that." Well, why would you even bring it up? Because you're lying. Okay. But let's continue. Y'all heard what he said. He sat there and lied and said that he would pass it if it makes it to the desk. It's not going to make it to the desk. It's going to die in the Senate because you all know who's in the Senate, right? Y'all already know. You already know those nefarious Republicans are not going to do anything. Okay, at the end of the day, you can't trust any of them. The only one that I even like would be Rand Paul, because at the end of the day, he went in on Dr. Fauci, and also I call him Fauci. I know his name is Fauci, but at the end of the day, Trump can't stand him either. He calls Rand Paul a rhino, okay, which means Republican in name only. Okay, so if Trump doesn't like him, he can't be half-assed, as far as I'm concerned. Now let's continue.
Of calling the files a Democratic hoax and attacking members of his own party when they brought up the issue. In a social media post late last night, the president writing, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. The president also warning that Democrats would be implicated after he directed the Justice Department to launch a new investigation. Today, the president spoke to reporters about his support for the House bill, but at the same time, he downplayed the issue while insisting that the Epstein files are a distraction.
Do you want to see that pass the Senate? Would you sign that bill if it gets to your desk?
I do want to. Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party.
You would sign
We'll
it if
give
it comes
them
to your desk?
everything. Sure, I would.
Okay, now I sat there and went on TikTok and dug up that video only for them to show it on here. Okay, I didn't watch this. That's why I didn't know it was coming on here. Okay, but let's continue. I'm going to skip past some of this.
Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really.
Here's the thing. He said the Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. How were all of them his friends? All of them didn't know that darn man. And Trump, we know for a fact you were his friend. Now, if he wasn't hanging out with Epstein, how would he know who else was? To know that all of them were his friends. Trump, please sit down somewhere, just silly self. Steady lying.
The greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
The president's pivot on the Epstein files comes as a Trump ally tells NBC News that Republicans have privately pressured the White House to shift its strategy, warning they could see mass Republican support for their House vote to release the files. Sources tell NBC News that vote could be as soon as tomorrow. Democrats, meanwhile, trying to frame themselves as rising above politics. Congressman Ro Khanna, one of the co-sponsors of the resolution to release the files, telling Meet the Press this is not about Trump, while also sharply rebuking him.
If you gave me a choice, I'd rather the president reverse course. I'd rather he release all these files. Someone was saying that his numbers would go up. I don't care if he gets the political win. It's not about Donald Trump. I don't even know how involved Trump was. There are a lot of other people who are involved who have to be held accountable. You know why Trump is losing his MAGA base on this? The reason he's losing it is he ran saying there's a corrupt governing elite that has shafted you. That this is the Epstein class was the forgotten Americans, and I'm going to stand up for forgotten Americans. He's forgotten those forgotten Americans.
For months, the president has publicly feuded with members of his own party, including former close allies over Epstein. The president this weekend rescinding his support of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and calling her, quote, a lunatic and a traitor after she redoubled her criticism of the White House for not releasing the files. Greene reacted to the president's attacks yesterday.
The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking.
The president has not been charged with any criminal activity linked to Epstein and denies any wrongdoing. And while much of the conversation around the release of the Epstein files from lawmakers and the president has focused on the potential political ramifications of their release, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell are also speaking out and sharing their own message. My colleague Hallie Jackson spoke to two of those survivors ahead of tomorrow's expected vote.
Please remember that these are crimes that were committed against real humans, real individuals. This is not a political issue. This has been going on for decades. So many things have happened over the decades that were law enforcement failures in this case. This is not partisan. We're asking for you to stand with us now to release all of the files.
When you look at how long this has spanned, we have to do something about it, of course. And it really is not political. It's never been political for us. We've been saying that, and it seems to be, we scream it from the rooftops, and somehow it still gets politicized.
Joining me now from the White House is NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs Correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. NBC's Julie Sirkin is on Capitol Hill, and also with me, NBC's Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Correspondent Tom Winter. Thank you all for joining me. Kelly, I want to start with you. Is this really a pivot or truly a change of heart when it comes to releasing the files? The president does seem to be trying to walk the line here, saying he's for transparency while also dismissing the files altogether. Walk us through that.
Well, certainly this is a response, it would appear on its face, to political pressure. The president has a sense of what the political mood is and certainly understands what's happening in the Republican Party. And we've seen many more Republicans moving toward supporting the release of the files and wanting to get past this by answering the public's demand for this information. The president said today to our colleague Garrett Haake, who was the pooler in the Oval asking the questions about this, that this is about wanting to get past it. The president focused on saying that this is a distraction. Well, it's been a distraction in part because it has been prolonged. And the president initially, when he was campaigning, said he was for the release. Then his administration backed away from that, put a lot of roadblocks in, tried to stop others from pushing toward the release. And now he's read the room and decided that it is important to just get past this. What we don't know is what the files will tell us, what more information there is. He also separately called for an investigation of named Democrats, that he did that in a social media post directing then the Department of Justice to take that action. And we saw Pam Bondi assign a top prosecutor to begin that work. We'll see where that goes. But there are still big questions about can files be released in a timely way when there are new investigations taking place? A lot of those things will have to be sorted out. But politically, the president is trying to kind of reclaim the main ground that other Republicans have been holding.
Yeah, Kelly, look, has the White House given any indication of how they plan to proceed with this, given that the president late last week had that social media post, as you mentioned, ordering that new investigation when just a few months prior, the Attorney General had released this memo from the DOJ and the FBI saying that there was nothing to see here, essentially that there were no other charges coming in this Jeffrey Epstein investigation. How is the administration squaring that?
Well, they're not really squaring it in the sense that that July memo that you referenced said that they had exhaustively looked at the files. There was no actionable information to pursue, and that therefore there would not be a release of additional information. They also cited the importance of not betraying any confidences of victims in that, redactions that would need to take place. And they have put out a number of documents that have been in the public domain for.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you all something. Those documents that they put out in the beginning, if you all remember, they put out those documents early on. They thought that was going to keep us quiet. You see, those documents that they gave, which were nothing more than transcripts from court, that was supposed to end it. That was supposed to silence everybody. Nobody was supposed to bring it back up after that. But of course, we were all like, what is this? This isn't a list of names. And everybody was just talking trash, and everybody kept talking about it. So here's where we are. And Trump's still trying to hide the information. And I'll tell you something else. Some of his base are falling out with him because of that Bubba email. Okay? That Bubba email. Let's not sweep that under the rug. Because who is Bubba? I have several questions. Now, his brother, or Epstein's brother, said that it wasn't Bill Clinton. He said it was a private individual. Okay, but nobody seems to know who Bubba is, and people are making, people are out here making guesses or whatever, saying certain things. But at the end of the day, I want to know who Bubba is. All right, is Bubba still living? Probably not. Probably not if we're just being honest. Okay, so anyway, let's go to this last video. This is a lady talking about Bubba. Now, I'm gonna skip past a minute or two of it because she said the BJ word. Okay, so hold on just a second. Okay, here we go. Terrion, I don't believe that. I know that people have been saying that about that's who Bubba is. I read that yesterday, but I don't believe that because first of all, when did they ever say Ghislaine had a horse? And I looked into it and there's never any history of her having one. Now, they did say that Bill Clinton's nickname was Bubba, but I don't know. I mean, his brother said that wasn't who they were talking about. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he isn't. Okay, I don't know. I don't have a clue, but I darn sure wish I did.
All over the place like you wouldn't believe. So I am not going to let this story die. We remember the pearl clutcher, prude family values people and the outrage that they had regarding Bill Clinton's infidelity with Monica Lewinsky. They impeached him for it in the House. And I want to keep that level of fight on what I'm calling blowjob mania. All right. And one of the more interesting things that came out of this last drip of Epstein files that was released to the Oversight Committee by the Epstein estate is the following email. Kylie, pop this up. And I have to read this. If you follow along on screen, you have to read them from the bottom up. How you doing? A while back, you mentioned that you were predictable. Has anything changed with that? What is your boy Donald up to now? This is from Mark Epstein to his brother, Jeffrey. Jeffrey says, all good, Bannon with me. And then Mark responds, ask him, meaning ask Bannon, if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Epstein says, and I thought I had to Circus, which I think is a like Yiddish word. And then the brother responds, you and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. And then Jeffrey clarifies, you mean Donnie T. So we all know who he's talking about here, right? So this to me is like this huge bombshell. first and foremost, for Republicans who are the family values, anti-gay, traditional marriage people, they've already exposed themselves as the hypocrites that we all knew they were by supporting Kanks. But there's two issues in this. Number one, obvious infidelity. Number two, homosexuality, which I have no issue with. I'm a huge supporter of the LGBTQ plus movement, unlike MAGA and the cult. And then national security. And you all have known Republicans, and that was their big thing. We're national security. We're patriots. We care about, strong national defense. You're telling me Putin has a picture of Kanks blowing Bubba, and you.
Let me tell y'all something. Putin is not likely the only one who has pictures, because if you all remember, put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you all remember that I told you all months ago that I have a video. I said I was going to go on Rumble, but I never got around to it. Anyway, I told you all that I had a video of Lumumba Idi Amin's son. And he was talking about how these people in the country that we're not supposed to talk about because they'll take your passport. He was saying that those people over there had some videos of American politicians, very prominent American politicians, that they were blackmailing them with. They were doing certain nefarious things, okay, to, how can I put it, people that are probably not that tall. I'll just say that much, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I still have that video. But at the end of the day, so when they say that Putin has this video, do y'all think that they were joking? I think Putin absolutely has something, because I told you all at least 6 months ago or more that I think Putin has something on Trump. Do you all remember that? I told you all that I think that Putin had something on Trump, because Trump's always kissing his behind, always doing what Putin wanted him to do. So I don't know. But I tell you what, that's not the first time I've heard about somebody having photos and videos and blackmailing these politicians over here in the United States.
If this happened to any other president, it would be wall to wall, chyrons, everything else would be insignificant. This is a bombshell. We covered it at the end of last week, but I just can't quit thinking about it. Well, Mark Epstein, Jeffrey's brother, is still alive and well, and he sends out a statement clarifying who Bubba is. Pop this up. So first of all, Brett Meiselas responds to this statement and says, incredibly funny that the clarification isn't, it was a joke and he never blew anyone, but rather, you've got the wrong Bubba. So he recently says, Mark Epstein, just a couple of days ago, he says, for the avoidance of doubt, the reference to Bubba in this correspondence is not in any way a reference to former President Bill Clinton. Doesn't say, hey, Donnie T in the remake of the movie Get Hard isn't giving a blowjob. Basically just says, hey, I want y'all to know it's not Bill Clinton, which Bill Clinton's nickname for a long time was Bubba. People who voted for him in the South, they strategists called it the Bubba vote. So Texas Paul, and I don't know if this is true or not.
Okay, so we still don't know who Bubba is, but what do you all think about Nicki Minaj going to the UN? And Dan was saying that he likes Jennifer Welch. I like her too, beloved. Yeah, I follow her. Okay, so now with that all being said, what do y'all have to say about Nicki Minaj going to the UN to speak? And proud of it. Let's listen to it. Let's talk about it. So she's more than thrilled, apparently. Okay, so she hold on. Nicki Minaj, from Barbie world to worldwide, rapper to speak at UN. So, well, this is a collab nobody saw coming. Nicki Minaj is partnering with the Trump administration to address the United Nations The Anaconda rapper will reportedly join the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, to deliver remarks Tuesday in New York City, spotlighting violence committed against Christians in Nigeria. Waltz complimented Nicki in a tweet Sunday, calling her a principled individual who refuses to remain silent in the face of injustice. Really? But her husband's accused of rape, and so was her brother, who's in prison currently, okay, if I'm not mistaken. So I find that interesting. And I do believe that she paid for his attorneys. Now, with that all being said, here's Nicki's response to his kind words. I want y'all to pay attention. Nicki, you're messing up. Girl, you are messing up. Okay, can y'all see that? It says, Ambassador, I am so grateful to be entrusted with an opportunity of this magnitude. I do not take it for granted. It means more than you know. The Barbs and I will never stand down in the face of injustice. We've been given our influence by God. There must be a bigger purpose. Y'all hear that? Not a bigger purpose. I find it all interesting, Nicki. Nicki just doesn't, I don't know how she doesn't know what Trump is up to. Like, girl. So, does this mean that Cardi B is smarter than her? Because Cardi B hates Trump. But let's continue. Nicki tweeted her appreciation, writing in the post. Okay, we already read what she wrote. And then they say Nicki's involvement was reportedly arranged by Trump media advisor Alex Brucewitz, who is also expected to speak at the event. Now, this comes after the Grammy-nominated artist praised Donald Trump earlier this month. You see how Trump does favors for anybody who praises him? Y'all see how he does? Okay. Jorpik said, hold on. Let me go back to this comment. Jorpik said, she's not messing up. She's very intelligent. Yeah, that's your opinion, and I have mine. And in my opinion, she's obtuse. Okay, she was very intelligent. She damn sure wouldn't be doing anything to benefit Trump. Trump's not doing anything to benefit people who look like her. Okay, and also, isn't Nicki Minaj Trinidadian? Some of those fishermen in the boats that Trump hit with airstrikes and bombed them and took their lives, yeah, some of them were Trinidadian fishermen, not smugglers. Okay, so yeah, she's a whole fool. All right, said what I said. Agree or don't. Now, with that all being said, this comes after the Grammy-nominated artist praised Donald Trump earlier this month for threatening military action against Nigeria over what he called the slaughter of Christians. And so this is what he put on his social media, Truth Social. And it's really ironic. I was thinking about this last night, how Trump named his platform Truth Social, when all he does is tell lies. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing. Y'all remember I reported this, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning. The Nigerian government better move fast. Trump, sit down somewhere, okay? Sit down somewhere. It just seems like some of our people are getting more and more obtuse by the day. I'm not even joking. They say no group should ever be, this is what Nicki said, no group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. So, according to BBC News, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu pointed out that people across faiths and regions have faced violence in the country, which is about evenly divided between Christians and Muslims. Let me tell you something. And here's what somebody said as a comment for on this TMZ article about Nicki. They said she's definitely with the right administration, offenders and PDF files. She has hands-on experience. So glad that I was never a fan. Okay. Wish I hadn't been, because I won't be now. All right. I should have known she was all shady when her brother was accused of doing what he did to his own stepdaughter, if I'm not mistaken, and then she paid for his lawyers. Yeah, she's a fool. Okay, now that all been said, y'all, do you all know the story I've been telling you all about that nurse? Do you all know that nurse is not fired? Do you all know that nurse is not fired? Okay. That's a lie. She's only on paid administrative leave. And the reason she's not fired is because many of those people at that hospital who look like her are absolutely racist. That's why she wasn't fired in 2023. Now, nobody told me this. This is just what I've come to the conclusion of. Because how in the hell is she still there? Now, they're talking about they have to review the footage or they got to investigate and all this stuff, but they already saw those damn videos. Everybody's seen them. And I know darn well they've seen that one from 2023. That was 2 years ago, almost 3. So my thing is, she's not fired. So until she is, and until her license is gone, keep complaining. Okay, keep filing those complaints. And also, today, when I come back at about 6 or 6:30, we're going to get someone else in trouble. Okay, we're going to go in on somebody else. We need to get them. Well, we can't get them fired because they own their own business. But what we do want to do is get their license taken because they need their license to have their business. Okay. And in the meantime, Black women are going to boycott them. Okay. This African woman, she snatched this Black woman by her hair and ripped it out of her head. Okay. Y'all gonna learn. Now, we told y'all a couple of months ago, I did a whole video telling y'all that the people that disrespect us, the ones that sit there and want us to spend our money with them and want to be disrespectful at the same time, that they need to be boycotted. The ones that treat you with dignity and respect as they should when you're breaking bread with them or spending money with them, then those are the ones you should support. But the ones who are being nefarious, you need to stop going to see them. Now, this woman, what is her name? Her name is Gifted Hands. Gifted Hands is her name. Okay. So yeah, I'll be dragging her later on today, and y'all are going to help me drag her too. And then when I get her information, we're all going to send out complaints. Okay. Yeah, to the state board, to the state licensing board for cosmetology. All right. With that all being said, let's continue. So yes, like I said, the nurse didn't get fired, and here. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Before I get into that, let me tell you all about Trump's political strategy, because you all remember the list, the 10 things that an autocrat does, right? You all remember I showed you that video yesterday, what Stacey Abrams was saying. And I told you all stuff like this before, because Trump does all of the above. Because I happen to have Trump's whole political strategy. Now, Donald Trump's political strategy is characterized by an America First ideology. But we all know he's not really America First. He's Trump first and fattening his pockets. Okay. Anyway, but his America First ideology that combines what some would call right-wing populism, economic nationalism, and a focus on expanding his executive power. Now, his approach emphasizes unpredictability, media dominance, and a strong appeal to his political base. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about all of it. So with America First, this is the overarching principle guiding both domestic and foreign policy, prioritizing U.S. national interest, economic sovereignty, and border security above international agreements or alliances, which we all know that's all lies, because he doesn't do any of this. I mean, he does not put America first above any of these other things. That's what he doesn't do. Now, populism and base mobilization. Trump's strategy heavily relies on cultivating an identity among his supporters as a collective effort against the political and media establishment. His rhetoric uses fear-mongering and disinformation to air public grievances and maximize voter turnout from his base, then often bypassing traditional media for social media and podcast. You know why he does that? Does anybody have a guess why Trump likes social media more so and podcasts more so than being on the regular media? Does anyone know? Please put it in the chat. Please put it in the chat if anybody has an idea. Jorpik said, as backwards as our culture currently is, people don't mind if women boycott their stores. It's welcomed. Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. Obviously, you didn't see months ago when Black women started boycotting their stores, their braid salons and all that stuff, and their businesses in general. You didn't see all the stuff they were saying online, how they were so mad and upset, butt hurt and bent out of shape. Yeah, it's about to be like that again, honey. I don't know where you got your information from. They absolutely do care. What does our culture have to do with our money? They don't give a darn about our culture. All they care about is what's green, and that's the money that Black people spend with them. And once that goes away from the table, they have a problem. And we're going to make sure that this lady, Gifted Hands, has a whole lot of problems. Pay attention. All right? And so TC Dan said, Queen, it's so he can control the flow of info. All right. That's a good one. That's a good one. That is one thing. But the main reason that I feel like Trump wants to go on podcast and he likes to be on social media in general rather than on news stations is because there's no fact checking. Okay? There's no fact checking when he goes on these podcasts like Joe Rogan or wherever he goes. There's never. When he's posting lies all over Truth Social, nobody fact checks him. But when he goes on the news, sometimes they will absolutely fact check him right in his face. You saw how that reporter asked him when he said that he was yelling at the country. She says, what countries were they? We want the names. He refused to give it because he was probably lying, as per usual. That's what it is. That's what it is. But also, like TC Dan said, to control the flow of information. Okay? And now, with that all being said, expansion of executive power. Now, this is a key element of his governing strategy. Okay? It's the consolidation of authority within the executive branch, guided by an interpretation of the unitary executive theory. You see, this involves efforts to dismantle or gain partisan control of independent government agencies, such as the Department of Justice and FBI, and replace nonpartisan civil servants with loyalists. See, that's what he's been doing all along. Trump got right in there, started taking out people, firing people, anybody that Obama or Biden put in there, he was getting rid of them, and filling the positions with his own loyalists. I reported that to you all in probably January. And so now we see that his plan worked because everybody that's in his cabinet, his administration is doing exactly whatever he says, not asking any questions and bowing their heads when he goes in on them. Okay, they know not to give him any grief. Now, with that all being said, both domestically and internationally, Trump often views relationships and deals through a transactional deal maker lens, emphasizing leverage and a law of the jungle approach that's over established international law or multilateral formats. Okay, yes. Doesn't he look at everything as a deal? He always has to benefit in some way. I told you all this weeks ago that Trump always has to get something out of it. He's not just going to do anything just to be doing it. He's got to make sure that he secures something for himself. Okay? And then let's talk about this madman theory of his. Okay? That's what I like to call it. So it's when he basically employs a strategy of appearing irrational and unpredictable to his adversaries or his sometimes allies even. Okay, like I've been telling y'all, the fool has been going in on his own allies and have them looking at us like we're crazy. Okay, and so this is to extract concessions. Okay, so he can get things from them and also to pressure them into agreements. Okay, so just like he has all those troops going over there to Venezuela and he sent the USS General Ford over there. Okay, there's about 20,000 military officials over there. He's doing this just like somebody said in the chat yesterday that he was posturing. Somebody said that in the chat yesterday, and I absolutely agreed. I said, yeah, that's what he's doing, trying to intimidate. Because at the same time, he was saying that he would be open to talks with President Maduro. If you want to talk, I don't think that would be the way to do it. I just wouldn't think. I would think that would put him on edge, not feel like he could trust you and prepare, for battle. Because that's what he's over there doing. Now, that being said, Trump thinks that he can just bully people. That's what bullies do. They use fear mongering. Okay, they use all sorts of tactics to try to intimidate people and to giving them what they want. And that's Trump all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Now, some key policy platforms, immigration. Okay, a primary focus includes securing the border, building more of the border wall, ending catch and release policies, and conducting mass deportations of all undocumented migrants. He has proposed using the military for domestic law enforcement at the borders and reinstituting the travel ban on individuals from certain Muslim majority nations. Please pay attention. Now, economy and trade, let's talk about that because his economic strategy, well, It includes extending the 2017 tax cuts, cutting regulations, and achieving energy dominance through increased fossil fuel production. Drill, baby, drill. Isn't that what he loves to say? He favors an America First trade policy involving the use of universal baseline tariffs to address trade deficits and reshore manufacturing. Now, as it goes to government reform, a major plank involves draining the swamp. Isn't that what he said he was going to do? Y'all forgot he was the swamp, okay? By cutting wasteful federal spending, freezing hiring, and targeting woke diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, DEI. Foreign policy, with that, he pursues a non-interventionalist stance that prioritizes U.S. interests and is skeptical of international organizations, like the UN and NATO, and involves withdrawing from global climate agreements like the Paris Accord. At the end of the day, he definitely wants to have media dominance, a flooding zone tactic. That's what that is. You see, you can overwhelm the media with a constant stream of news and events to control the narrative and make it difficult for the public to keep up. Or fact checkers, they can't respond to every claim, could they? Just think about it. Just think about it. All this stuff that Trump says all over the internet, all over social media. If he was going on news stations saying all this stuff, the fact checkers wouldn't be able to keep up with him. But while they have him right there in front of them, yeah, they could definitely fact check him. And he doesn't want to be embarrassed. Okay. Now, non-traditional outlets. Well, that goes back to social media. He relies heavily on social media and appearances on podcasts and streaming services. This is for him to communicate directly with his supporters in an unscripted, informal manner that humanizes him and bypasses traditional media filters. His rhetoric often focuses on perceived victimhood and a battle between good and evil to keep his base motivated and united. Well, right now they're not united. It seems to me like they're falling apart. At the seams, no less. Okay, seems like they're falling apart at the seams. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about this nefarious nurse. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. This woman is definitely not fired. I'm so mad about it. Thanks, Reggie. Here we go. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
She's not fired. The reason she's not around is because the hospital placed her on paid administrative leave. She's sitting at home watching all the TikToks, including this one. You might want to send her a message on your behalf. The hospital had to do this because there's hundreds of people protesting in front of the hospital as we speak. Because the hospital has received bomb threats. Because the hospital has been inundated with phone calls. See, LaCrista thought she was just going to do this to yet another patient because this is not her first rodeo. She's done this before. Except now we have video. We need to continue to raise awareness because after all, that's Texas. And we know what happens in Texas. She's going to find a group of people that somehow they're going to justify that racist behavior. They're going to be like, well, she was just doing her job. She needed to gather information for patient safety. Getting her fired is just the beginning. The board needs to do a thorough investigation and they need to revoke her license. Because if she was racist in that hospital, she's been racist before in other facilities, and she's going to be racist in future facilities, putting at risk anyone that doesn't look like her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the nerve of her to say that she wanted to work in labor and delivery. Is she serious? Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here's another nurse to speak on the nurse. I told y'all there was some more of them. This Nurse Fee with the Nurse T, and you know, here we talk everything nursing. In light of the story about the nurse LaCrista Vaughn that sat there and didn't show a lick of compassion for the young lady that was in full-blown active labor, I had a chance to listen to the mother's story yesterday. And apparently they had called the hospital, and the hospital knew that they were coming. So the mother said when she pulled up to the ER, they told her, she pulled up to the ER for some help because her daughter is in full-blown labor. They told her she need to go around to the front, as if being in active labor is not an emergency. Now, I never worked in labor and delivery a day in my life, but if I'm not mistaken, I thought that active labor was an emergency. But in any case, they told her to go around to the front. So she drives around to the front. She pull up. I don't know if it was a nurse or somebody she talked to, asked them about a wheelchair. They wouldn't even help them get out the vehicle. The security guard ended up getting a wheelchair and helping them. Then it goes, it gets worse. Then she said that a charge nurse came out and handed her a stack of papers, her daughter a stack of papers, and told her she need to fill these out. Mind you, she's in active labor. She had called before they arrived. So in my opinion, they should have been anticipating her arrival. She said the charge nurse told her she need to fill out the papers or sign them or something. The mother said, do we have to do this right now? Basically, I don't know if the charge nurse said something to the effect that if she didn't do that, she couldn't be seen, and had this very nonchalant demeanor as well. And said that, her daughter ended up scribbling her name on there. And I think the charge nurse was like, thank you or something, and then I think it went on to the part where we saw her in the ER or something. Let me tell you something. When there are racist people in the atmosphere, they not alone. They don't act single-handedly. I told y'all last night there's more of them. Every nurse that was involved in this needs to be held accountable. Every last one of them. You couldn't help her get in a wheelchair. Then this woman is screaming out in pain, and nobody stepped in to help. Every last one of them need to be held accountable, and I'm going to need people to do the Lord's work once again, because I knew there was more of them. The charge nurse, everybody, I don't care. I can't clean up the whole profession, but we can start somewhere. All right. She was going in, and it was no lies detected as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now here is another one. Because this lady says, I just saw this one. This lady says the hospital's on lockdown. Okay.
What up, Nurse Gang? What up, TikTok? So, just a quick update on LaCrista Vaughn. I mean, this nurse has went more viral than the ick nurses. I mean, there's millions. I mean, she's everywhere. The nurse who watched that patient in labor.
Lisa Jackson says, this is why we need to get back to midwives of our own. Well, absolutely. And here's the thing. There are some doulas that people can, go to rather than going to the hospital. But the thing is, it just seems to me like a lot of people are not into that. Like a lot of people don't know about it. They think it's better to go to the hospital. Some people may feel like they feel safer. I don't know. But there is not a lot of people in our community doing that. I would expect that there should be a whole lot more, but there really isn't. There really isn't. Another thing too, they say that when you're giving birth, you're not supposed to be laying on your back. You're supposed to be squatting. They said that's how they did it in the ancient days. I need to look into it because somebody told me that yesterday. Okay, so but Lisa, thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. And also, Erica Badu, she delivers people's children. There's a lot of people doing that these days. There really is. I think it's possibly safer than dealing with people who don't like people who look like you. I know that.
And being doxxed, it's just crazy. But there's information going around that, oh, she's been terminated. This nurse did not get fired. That's misinformation. She did not get fired. She's still an employee at the hospital. They right now do not have her in the hospital, and they have her under investigation. And it was told to me that she can't be in the hospital because people have been out in front of the hospital protesting, sending in bomb threats. They even had hospitals mixed up, and there's another hospital across the street. They was over there harassing them people. So the internet is on full 100. And that's the thing. People take things from the internet and then they, you know, become reality. Like it's scary. You got to be very careful how you treating people out here, because you just do not know. There's a lot of crazy people in the world, you know, that will take shit from 0 to 100. And but is misinformation. She did not get fired. Dallas has their comments off, you know, they're just pending investigation, but not fired. It's not true. It's misinformation. And yes, the hospital is under stress because people are calling, people are protesting, people are calling in bomb threats. It's just people are doxing her. Information is all over line.
Well, y'all heard that. Here's the thing, though. They're saying that the rumor about her being fired was started by the hospital. They're saying that they put out that lie because they were sick of people calling and because of the protesting and all of that, not to mention they don't want to get rid of this lady. That's why they just put her out of the hospital so she wouldn't be seen. Okay. And because also they lied and said she was fired because people were able to quickly, okay, get a hold of her information. Quickly able to get a hold of her information, phone number, address, license, you name it. We got it real quick. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about, hold on here. Where's my receipts? Okay, now let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, because y'all know poor Shedeur got robbed. Did y'all know that? Shedeur's house got broken into while he was at the game. And he finally got to play. And we have the racist demons just talking trash, going in on him. But we're going to get into that in a second. Shedeur Sanders' house broken into on day Brown's rookie played his first game. So his house was burglarized Sunday, the same day he received his first regular season NFL action, according to multiple sources, including Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot. Now, it's unclear if anything was stolen. No suspects have been identified. Sanders, age 23, made his official NFL debut during the second half of the Browns' 23-16 loss to the Ravens after Cleveland's starting quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, went into concussion protocol during halftime. He must have got knocked the F out. Sanders finished 4-16 for 47 yards with an interception and 2 sacks. Now, the Browns, who led 16-10 when Sanders entered, managed just 4 first downs in the second half. It was not only Sanders' first NFL game, but his first time working with the first team offense. Coach Kevin Stefanski. Okay, I can't stand that man. He said this after the game. Now, I want y'all to listen to that again. Let me go back, because some of y'all, if y'all don't watch sports, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But for the men, yeah, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me read that again. It was not only Sanders' first NFL game, but his first time working with the first team offense. This is what Kevin Stefanski, like I like to call him, said himself. A difficult situation, but not at all uncommon for a backup quarterback. That's a damn lie. That is a lie. That is not common for a backup quarterback. Somebody tell me I'm not crazy. Okay, somebody tell me. Here's the thing. If you have a backup quarterback, why wouldn't you allow them to get any reps Why would you allow them to play? I'm sorry, this makes no sense at all. Shedeur has been on this team since May. He's been on the team since May, and he's not getting any reps with the first team. So that means that Coach Kevin Stefanski threw him into the game, and what? He was lost, likely. Because here's the thing. Now, y'all know I played football in high school. It was called powder puffs, okay? Basically flag football. But miss me with it because I was good. I was the quarterback. And my favorite play was the quarterback sneak. But anyway, here's the thing. Now, at the end of the day, the coach is supposed to talk to the players, get them practicing reps, the backup quarterback, because you never know what's going to happen to the starting quarterback. Now, does Kevin Stefanski not know that Dylan can get injured? Of course he does. This man won Coach of the Year twice. I don't know why, but clearly he has sense enough to know what he's doing if he won Coach of the Year twice, right? So that would mean that he knows that he should have been giving this young man some reps, okay? With the number ones. Make it all make sense. But he got none. Then you're going to throw him out there? I'd have rather for him to left him sitting on the bench. Okay? It's Billy Zapp. Or Zappa, isn't that his name? Is he getting any reps with the first ones? I have questions. Is he getting any reps with the ones? I just have so many questions. I just don't know what's going on with this, other than the fact that I told you all, this man is definitely trying to sabotage him. Okay, the mean girl said that coach doesn't like him. No, he doesn't. I said that from day one, beloved. I said that during the preseason, that he doesn't like him. He already sabotaged him one time before. Okay. Here's the thing. If you notice, whenever the media asks Stefanski, I know his name is Stefanski, but I'm gonna call him Stefanski. Whenever the media asks Stefanski about Shedeur, do you all notice how he talks so dry? Do you all notice that I don't think I ever in my life have heard him call Shedeur by his name? I don't think I've ever heard him call that young man by his name. It is utter disrespect. And let me tell you all, here's the thing. Hold on, let me finish this article. And then I'll get into it because I don't want to get sidetracked. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say that he claims it was a difficult situation, but not at all common, okay, for a backup quarterback. He says, I don't think I played good. This is what Shedeur said. I don't think I played good at all. I think it's a lot of things we need to look at during the week and go and just get comfortable, even throwing routes with Jerry and throwing routes with all those guys. I think that was my first ball to him all year. But other than that, I just think overall we just got to go next week and understand. So then we can have a week to prepare stuff that I like to do. See, this is the thing. Shedeur should not be so hard on himself, because this really, in my opinion, is not his fault. It's the coach's fault. Okay, this is malfeasance of the coach, as far as I'm concerned. This man needs to be fired. I don't know why he's still here. Who is it that he's tied to? Because do they not want their team to win? Okay, do they not want their team to win? Now, what Stefanski probably was doing was giving Shedeur Dylan's plays. Okay? Because Dylan's already talked to him, I'm sure, and told him what he likes, okay, what plays he likes, because that's what they do in football. And so with that all being said, and also that lady, Mary Kay Cobbett, whatever her name is, that reporter, she said herself that they weren't giving Shedeur any reps. She's been said that. She's been said that. They have him practicing with the practice squad only. So, I have questions. Anyway, goes on to say, he says, but other than that, I just think overall we just got to go next week and understand, so then we can have a week to prepare stuff I like to do. Sanders is expected to get his first NFL start in week 12 against the Raiders, and we'll have to prepare while dealing with the break-in as well. Now, Sanders is one of several notable athletes whose house has been broken into while in the past year plus. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Okay, their homes were burglarized during the 2024 season. and so was Joe Burrows. And in February of 2025, federal prosecutors charged 7 men, okay, alleged members of a South American crime syndicate with conspiracy to commit interstate transportation of stolen property. I'm glad they got caught. I hate thieves. All of those burglaries occurred when those players were out of town for games. Sanders and the Browns were home Sunday. The break-ins have not been limited to the NFL. In late December of 2024, the house of Luke Doncic, then with the Mavericks, was burglarized and about $30,000 worth of jewelry stolen. Timberwolves guard Mike Conley and Bucks forward Bobby Portis were also victims of similar crimes. The FBI warned sports leagues about crime organizations targeting athletes' homes shortly after the Doncic incident, and the NFL and NBA issued memos to its players a month earlier. My question is, these people that are committing these burglaries, how do they know what these men have in their homes? How do they know whose homes they're breaking into? They would, in my opinion, they have to likely be following them or something. They've got to be following them or something, because how do they know where they live, whose house it is, and all of that? They need to be careful, okay? And if I was in the NFL, I'd have security. I'd have all kind of stuff around my house. You wouldn't be able to come within 10 feet, okay? This is all crazy. Anyway, let me continue. So with that all being said, this is what I was going to tell you all. So I got a little upset when I saw how Shedeur was looking. I didn't like that because that's what I was thinking. That, you know, when all this hate was coming for him and all that stuff, I said, now I don't want them to break his spirit. And that's what it looked like. It looked like they're starting to break his spirit. Now, I should hope not. And of course, he said that he's still himself. He's still fine and all this, that, and whatever. Maybe he was reflecting, because I said, you know, I probably look like that, have the same look on my face when I'm reflecting about things, thinking about what I can do, trying to figure it all out. Like, if I do this, this will fix it, whatever. So maybe that's what he was doing. I hope, because if I find out that he was Kevin Stefanski, I'm going to make a trip to Cleveland, tell you a thing or two. And I'm not even joking. Okay, I'm not even joking. I will show up in Cleveland and let him have it right there on the field. Security will have to carry me off. I promise you. Y'all think I'm joking, but I am dead serious right now. Please pay attention, or I won't say I'm dead serious, okay, because words have power. But I'm literally serious, okay? Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's hear what, what's this man's name that we can't stand? Stephen A. Smith. Let's hear what he has to say. I actually like most of his sports commentary, just not some of his other talking points.
Scouts, aficionados said the game appeared to be too quick for him, that he routinely held onto the ball too long and was subjected to immense pressure, 11 quarterback pressures and 2 sacks, by the way. I don't know whether Shedeur Sanders is an NFL quarterback or not, and I don't blame anybody for assuming and surmising that he may not be. But how does he get 0 snaps with the first team? How a player is able to say they were unfamiliar with his snap count? He wasn't prepped at all. You're a QB2. Your QB1 is an undersized dude, a hit away from getting concussed and taken out of the game. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. He knows a thing or two about coaching football. How unprepared did Shedeur Sanders look? Suddenly.
And here's the thing. Why was he unprepared? When all this time, all these weeks, what has Kevin Stefanski been lying and telling the media? That they're developing Shedeur. That's what he's been saying. Isn't that what he's been saying? Men in the chat, help me out. Hasn't he been saying time and time again, Kevin Stefanski that is, when the media has asked him about Shedeur Sanders, what does he say? That they're developing him. How the hell are you developing him when he's not even allowed to get any time in? Okay, no reps with the ones. How are you developing him? Lying dog. I can't stand racist devils. Kevin Stefanski, I think he's racist. That's just what I think.
Suddenly he's not comprehending plays. Suddenly he doesn't know the playbook. Suddenly he doesn't know what's going on. That's not the reputation that we've ever heard about Shedeur. We've heard he's incredibly familiar with the playbook. We've heard that he's very, very smart. Now, the knock against him is that he's about the why. He's not somebody that just does what he's told. He wants to know why. That's true, but it smells.
Yeah, Shedeur does ask questions, and that's what he's supposed to do. Okay, RG Titan said Cam Newton said on First Take yesterday that Shedeur should have been getting first team reps, even though he's the backup. Exactly. Okay. Now we know Cam Newton should know. So exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. Because do you not expect that you're going to ever need the backup? That's like so obtuse to me. That's like so crazy. And like Stephen A. Smith just said, he's a little dude, Dylan Gabriel. What? How tall is he? Like 5'10"? He's not that tall to be in his position. Okay, so I would expect that he would get hurt. I've been waiting for it. And you need to tell me, after May, all the way till November, Shedeur has not gotten any reps with the ones ever until Sunday. So that means no wonder he didn't do good. He was sabotaged. He got in the game. He wasn't familiar with them. He'd never thrown to any of them. He didn't have them all figured out. They didn't know what he liked. The coach probably never asked him what he liked. But he asked Dylan, I guarantee you that. How much you want to bet? Shedeur just, I guess he did the best he could do with what he had to work with. I feel so bad for this young black man. He is brilliant, handsome, talented, humble, and he is Coach Prime's damn son. Okay, put some respect on his name, haters.
I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it smells to me. I really viewed him as being set up to fail, or at least not prepared to succeed. Maybe set up to fail is too strong because it speaks to the intent of a malice nature by the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, stuff, which I would not do.
Well, it is malice. What else could it possibly be?
I'm not going to impugn that man's integrity in any way like that. But can we at least say that he wasn't positioned to succeed? Can we say that? You got two different types of quarterbacks, and you do nothing to prepare him? It smells, y'all. NFL scouts, aficionados said the game appeared to be too quick for him, that he routinely held on to.
Now I'm going to tell y'all like this. With that all being said, let's go to what Kevin Stefanski said to the media after the fact. Y'all know who I need to see who said what. Okay, we're going to listen to this because I have a video from Kevin Stefanski and one of the players on Shedeur's team. So with that all being said, after that, I want to go. I'm going to look for it while y'all are watching the video. But I would love to know what Shannon Sharp and Ocho had to say about this. I want to know what they had to say about this. Okay, so I'm going to find that video. I know they talked about it. I'm sure they did. Okay, so let's go to this with Kevin Stefanski, and then I'm going to be looking for that video in the meantime.
I think Shedeur handled everything that comes with first and false start taking over versus the Ravens team.
Yeah, listen, we trust all of our guys. We trust our guys to perform. He's no different, and playing a backup quarterback role, as we've talked about over the years, that's tough to come in there. But we trust him. I know there's things that he's going to want to do better, but that's why we work.
How did you think Shedeur handled everything that comes with first and false start taking over versus the Ravens team?
Yeah, listen, we trust all of our guys. We trust our guys to perform. He's no different, and playing a backup quarterback role, as we've talked about over the years.
Okay, sorry guys, I was distracted. I was looking for the nightcap video to see if to see if Shannon and Ocho, if they talked about it. I found the video, so we'll go to that in a minute. But first, let's go to this other one. Hold on. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Oh, I'm on the wrong email. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
performance, but we're not going to allow him to do that. It's a team game, so we're all in this together.
You said he addressed the entire team in the locker room after the game.
And then we're going to continue to support him. We're going to continue to support him. He spoke after the game, and he wanted to pin it on himself and his performance, but we're not going to allow him to do that. It's a team game, so we're all in this together.
You said he addressed the entire team in the locker room after the game.
And then we're going to continue to.
Did y'all see how sad my nephew was looking? Did y'all see how he was looking so sad? He was looking so forlorn, okay? He was looking so forlorn. Kevin Stefanski, I promise you, you better not. Y'all think it's a joke? He better not make me have to come to Cleveland, okay? I'm not even joking. Now, next week, Shedeur is supposed to start. They said he's supposed to start next week. Now, when he gets in there next week, they better have his plays down that he likes. Okay? Kevin Stefanski, you better have everything that young man likes so he can go out there and thrive and do his thing the way Coach Prime taught him to do it. All right? Don't make me come down there. Sometimes you got to pop up and show niggas. Okay, please pay attention. Now, Nita's and Mike's World says, we love Shedeur Sanders here in Cleveland, Ohio. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, and Nita's and Mike's World, since y'all stay in Cleveland, Ohio, if I have to come there, I'm staying with y'all. Thanks for the invite. Please pay attention. Okay? Now, that all being said, Troy says, they're trying to dim his light. Exactly. Yes, they're trying to kill his spirit, okay? They're trying to dim his light. They're trying to kill his spirit. They're trying to make him feel, they want to bring him down because they feel like he's arrogant. He's not arrogant. He's confident. And here's the thing. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, it's okay to be arrogant, okay? It's okay to feel that way about yourself, all right? So, as long as you're not narcissistic with it, that's all I'm saying. Please pay attention. Now, here I have the video of Shannon. Let's go to it and see what Shannon and Ocho are talking about. I'm going to have to find the timestamp. Y'all give me a second, but I'm going to go ahead and share it. Okay, so it looks like it's at the beginning. Hold on, because I see Kevin Stefanski. Let me make sure this is the right video. Hold on. Ocho reacts to Shedeur Sanders' name. Okay.
Sports Thunk here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. Ocho, Mary Kay Cabot, when she reports all things Browns, I listen.
Yes.
Shedeur Sanders is expected to start Sunday in the game against the Las Vegas Raiders with Dylan Gabriel in concussion protocol. Barring something unexpected, Sanders will make his starting debut, becoming the 42nd different quarterback to start for the Browns since 1999. Kevin Stefanski was asked today if he changed anything, how reps were divided up among quarterbacks. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Would you have changed anything about the approach, about how you maybe divided up the first team reps from training camp to now?
Yeah, I understand the question, Cam. I think it's important that you do what you think is right for a football team. The development of our players is constant. It doesn't happen just in one drill or in.
Now I want y'all to pay attention. Why isn't he answering the damn question? Okay, it's a yes or no. You see what he's doing here? I'm feeling like he's not going to give him any reps. Feeling like he's not going to get many. Listen to how he's answering it. Yeah. The thing we do with developing our players, it's not going to happen in one day. Nobody said it was, you stupid, ignorant piece of racist. Let me calm down. At the end of the day, nobody said it was. You've had this man on your team since May. Why the hell hasn't he done any reps with the first ones? I want, ooh, honey, let me just calm down. Please don't make me come to Cleveland because this man's feelings will be so hurt.
One practice or one meeting. So we trust our guys. We trust our backup players to be ready to go. And Shedeur's ready to go. Obviously, I know he wants to play better. I want to coach better, all those type of things. But that just comes, that'll come through work. That's where it will come.
I like what he just said, huh? I like what he just said.
What did he say?
He contradicted himself a little bit. The key word that he just said, develop. Develop. The only way to develop is to get the reps.
Didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I say, and he's been saying every week that we're developing him? How are you developing him if he's not getting the reps? And you don't even know what he likes. The other players, the ones, are not familiar with him. He's not familiar with them. This man is sabotaging him. You know what? Shedeur needs to, they need to trade him. They really need to trade him. Okay? I want Shedeur to get out of Cleveland because this is not making any sense. There's no way they can justify this BS. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, that man Kevin Stefanski, I wish the worst on him. I am so serious.
Yes. Just in case. You need to develop in just in case scenarios with those you're going to play with on Sundays. That's how you develop. If you got an offensive period, you got 707, you got 20 plays, 5 of those plays have to go for number 2 just in case. If you got team period and you got another 20 plays or 15 plays, 5 of those plays, maybe that's a little bit much. If you got 15, at least 3 of those plays.
Normally 10 to 12. Everywhere I've been, I'm not saying some people might have had that, but we never went more than 12 plays a period.
Yeah, so some.
This game.
The last
goal line wasn't that many. You probably had about 4 or 5 plays on goal line.
Yeah, but those situations towards the end of the plays in that period, they need to go, to your backup quarterback. That's how you develop. That's how you make sure you're ready just in case something happens to your number 1 quarterback. That's what they didn't do. And a lot of people, making fun of, oh, Shedeur, you said he'll be ready. Oh, he said he could play. Listen, I don't care who you are. If you don't get reps with the number 1s, it's not like a plug and play and all of a sudden you go out there and you're going to change things. They already need help. They already need help as it is offensively, in certain.
Yes.
So to think he's going to come in there and be all world without actually practicing with the ones, come on, man. It's the NFL, man. Come on, stop that.
I think the thing is, look, I've heard a lot of people say, well, look, I've only been to 2 places. And the backup got reps, especially because here I was in Baltimore. Trent Dilfer was our backup. Trent Dilfer was the number 4 pick in the draft.
Right.
And guess what? He got reps backing up Tony Banks. Tony was the starter.
Hey, Tony. Hey.
I give you another example. My next year, Elvis Gerback was the starter. Randall Cunningham was the backup. Randall got reps. Randall had been a starter with the Eagles, been to the Pro Bowl, went to the Pro Bowl with the Minnesota. He got reps. So we got 2 veteran guys that's taking reps.
Right.
But this, you're not going to give this guy any reps. And then you expect him. And then somebody said, Tom Moore said, Peyton Manning took all the reps. Ain't nobody getting no reps. When Peyton Manning got hurt and nobody take no reps, ask Tom Moore what happened to the whole staff. From the general manager down, got fired. You know why? Because the guys had taken no reps.
Right. It wasn't ready.
And it wasn't ready. And everybody got fired.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
Hey, Stefanski don't got to worry about that because the person who wants to do the firing came out publicly and said, this isn't my pick. This is not who I wanted.
Yeah, true. So for me, I just, like I said, I'm not saying you get a guy, he's a backup and you got a rookie quarterback, but it's hard for me to see a scenario. Because I always thought it was funny because they said, well, he's not even running the scout team.
Yeah, he wasn't running Bailey Zappi. That's his name. Bailey Zappi. Why did they even get him back on the team? Like, I'm confused about all this stuff. Okay, but here's the thing. Check this out. Okay, so it says, hold on, I'm gonna read this. Can Shedeur Sanders rise to the occasion? Brown's rookie QB to get valuable practice. This was from 5 hours ago. Okay, they're asking, can Shedeur Sanders rise to the occasion, and said that he's supposed to get valuable reps. Okay, well, when he gets them, that's when y'all can talk to me. Until then, Kevin Stefanski, you got nothing to say. Okay, you got nothing to say. At the end of the day, hold on, beloveds. I want to go to the highlights. Hold on just a second. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me put an overlay on here because it'll be just my luck. ScrewTube wants to give me a copyright claim. I'll take that off since I took the volume out. Okay, at the end of the day, I just don't think it's going to work out for him there. I just really want him to leave. What do y'all think? Reggie says they don't want to win or the hand on the hand of the black man, and with Archie Manning grandson coming up. Yeah, that's what it is. At the end of the day, Archie Manning's grandson. They want him to have all the spotlight, in my opinion. I told you all that. And here's the thing too. What it looks like Kevin Stefanski is doing, it looks like he's trying so hard to prove that he was right about Dylan Gabriel, because that was his pick. And at the end of the day, it's also looking like to me that he's trying to make Shedeur look like a scrub, like he's not all that, like people thought. Because he did the same thing in the preseason game. If you remember, he just set Shedeur up to fail, and then he wouldn't even let him go back in the game to redeem himself. He sent in somebody who he literally cut the next day. Why would you do that? Why would a person who you know you're going to cut the next day need any darn playing time? Like, make yourself make sense. Okay, that was just all crazy to me. That was all crazy to me. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Okay, they're not going to fire Stefanski. That's what they're not going to do. I wish they would. Above all that drama, said totally jacked up. Yeah, it is. Okay, so anyway, I'm about to be out of here, beloveds. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. I will be back at about 6 or 6:30, probably closer to 6:30. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, everyone enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds. Oh, hold on. Stop right there. Nobody moves. Yeah, never mind. I was going to show y'all something. So I can go in on somebody, but never mind. I'll just talk about it later. Okay, I'll talk about it on the next live. Okay, Joy said anyone except a black man. Exactly. Girl, you already know it's true. Okay? Like Millie Vanilli. All right. So anyway, with that, I've been said, I love you all to life. All right. Everybody enjoy this day. Each one teach one. It's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace. Perplex talking about show us, Queen. Oh no. Reggie said almost crashed my bus. Let me get off of here. Okay, before I make y'all get messed up. Show us, Queen. You know we nosy. Oh, I know y'all are. Y'all are gonna know soon enough. Y'all are gonna soon. It's just something. It's nothing important. It's just really somebody who was talking loud and proud and didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Okay. Now I actually like this person, but in this case, they was dead wrong and they didn't want to listen. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go in on them. Durrani said, not Milli Vanilli, Queen. Yes, girl, you know it's true. Okay, so anyway, love y'all to life, and I'll see y'all right at about 6:30. Till then, peace.
Hit him with that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got